Hi, boys and girls. So today you are going to draw a landscape, but we also have to ask the question of what is a Zentangle, because we're going to be using them in this beautiful landscape that is slightly abstract, not totally realistic. So here we go. You're going to need, I would suggest a pencil, although I'm going to be using marker. And at the end, you're going to want crayons or markers to be able to color it, because color really brings this project to life today. All right, so here we go. I have my piece of paper and my marker or pencil. I'm going to start with drawing a wave. Yours does not have to match mine. If you want to draw your water in the front differently, that's fine. Or you can follow along with me and draw your waves like I'm drawing my waves. So the front layer of this picture is going to be water. The second layer will be mountains, and the third layer will be the sun. So we're doing the foreground first, and in the foreground is the water. So I have some waves drawn. Just going to add some lines here to connect them so that there's a continuous chunk of water in the foreground. And then I'm going to make it a little bit simpler on that one side. I just wanted some fancy waves over on that other side. So my next layer is going to be mountains. I'm going to start with a line over here on the right-hand side of my paper. I'm going to draw a curve that comes down and connects to my waves. Now you have to be careful because the water and the mountains are going to start to look a little bit alike. They're all a lot of curves. So you have to keep your head on straight and be thinking about what is water, what are mountains, which is which, especially when you start to design and color in a few minutes. So here's another layer of mountains. Here's my last mountain I'm going to add. And now that I have my mountains, my third and final layer will be my sun. My sun is going to be one big giant curve connecting back down to my mountains. It's a sunrise or a sunset. I'm going to make some rays of sun coming out of my sun, going from my curve all the way to the edge of my paper. Going to do this all the way around my sun. Then we have something else to talk about. I mentioned what is a Zentangle earlier. Well, now we really need to explore that because our picture's a little bit boring right now. We're going to spruce it up with some designs. So all a Zentangle is a design on a piece of paper that helps to decorate a picture. So it could be as simple as circles or squares or swirls or just lines repeated over and over. So here's a zebra that has a flower design repeated over and over. Here's a wolf, and if you look really, really closely, there's tons of little Zentangle patterns within the wolf. So we're going to take the idea of Zentangling back to our design and make it a little bit more interesting. I love swirls, and I feel like they're very appropriate within these waves within the water. So I'm just going to add lots and lots of swirls in my water. So in the end, it's going to look like a pretty complicated design, but really it's just one line being repeated over and over and over. The swirly line, the spiral line. I'm just doing it again and again and again. And in the end, it looks pretty crazy and amazing, but it wasn't that hard to create. Now in your water, you do not have to do what I'm doing. Maybe you want to take a wavy line and just repeat that over and over and over. Maybe you want to take a circle and repeat a circle over and over again. Or maybe you want to do lots of different designs. I'm leaving that completely up to you, what types of designs or Zentangles you want to add into your water right now. But be working on your water and try to fill it in as much as you can. The more designing you do, the more amazing your artwork is going to be in this project. It doesn't have to be difficult designing, but I want you to put in some effort to fill in your page with designs. You can leave some areas of rest, like I'm only doing every other wave over here on the left side of the paper. You don't have to fill in every single square inch, but I would fill in quite a bit of it. Towards the end of this project, the color is going to become really important because with all of the busyness of this design, when I make my water blue, it's going to really bring that whole chunk in the bottom together through color. So I hope you have some crayons or markers available. If not, it'll still be a beautiful design, but I would love for you to really put in the effort to color this one, if you're able to. All right, I'm almost done with my swirls. I have a few more left. I'm almost done filling in this space. Now I'm going to move up to my hills or my mountains. I'm just going to start with some straight lines going across the top of this hill. Maybe you want your design to be hearts in the hill, or triangles, or repeated dots over and over. You don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing, but if it helps you to copy what I'm doing, you certainly can. I'm just doing different directions of lines. Very simple straight lines in all different directions, and they look pretty cool. That was one hill. Now I'm going to work on another hill. I'm thinking about what design I want to do. All right. I'm going to do a checkerboard pattern on this hill. So I'm going to put all my vertical lines. Now I'm doing my horizontal lines across the other way. And now when I fill in my checkerboard, I have to be really careful about which ones I fill in and which ones I leave blank. So if you do a checkerboard pattern, just be really careful with which ones you're coloring in because it's pretty easy to make a mistake on this part. And if you do, I'm sure you'll find a way to fix it. Covering it up. I'm going to speed this part of the video up, but if you need to pause at any point to catch up or finish your own designing, go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm moving on to my third hill, and I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to do a bunch of dots. Sometimes simple is better, especially with all of the busyness going on with the lines and the checkerboard and the swirls. I think the dots will be a nice change of pace for the eyes to look at. Meanwhile, I'm thinking about my last hill over there. I'm not sure yet. Okay, I think I have an idea. I'm going to do some zigzag lines. Aside from swirls, I really love the zigzag lines. They're one of my favorite things to draw. I'm just going to do another layer. And another layer. And just keep going until the entire hill is filled with zigzags. I'm keeping in mind that I will have to color all of this. I have to decide how I'm going to do that later. Now, I'm not going to forget about my sun. I do want to add some designs in the sky as well. Just put a little row of dots here. I want to leave my sun mostly alone, but I have done it where I've put a swirl in the middle before. I'm going to go back to my zigzag lines. Just because you used something once doesn't mean you can't use them again. I'm going to use some more straight lines here. It actually is really nice to repeat some of the same things you've already used. It helps your eyes flow around the paper a little more. All right, I'm going to try something new on this one and just do some bouncy lines. And I'm going to repeat them over and over and over and over. Just thought it would be nice to have something a little different up there. I'm going to go with a heart for the middle. And then I'm just going to repeat my heart over and over and over. Kind of trace my lines. Make a cool heart design in the middle of that one. And then I'm going to repeat the same things I have on the other side. Some zigzags. And then in my last one, I'm going to do some straight lines again. Notice I did leave some breathing room in between my designs because I don't want it to be overly busy. It's already pretty busy. And now it is time to color. So here's what I want you to think about when you're coloring. I want you to separate your warm colors and your cool colors. There is already enough craziness to this design. So having your colors a little bit organized is a really good idea. So if we use purple, blues, and greens on the bottom for the water and the grass and the mountains, and then warm colors on the top for the sunshine, like yellow, red, orange, and even a little bit of pink if you want pink up there, it would be a really good idea to do that. And I really want you to. So I'm going to do blue for my water. Okay, I'm going to speed this up a little so that it'll go a little faster. Now, even though I'm just using blue, I did some darker areas and lighter areas where I pressed harder with the crayon and lighter with the crayon. Now, I'm using green in the grass. It looks a little bit yellow on the computer screen, but it's like a lime green. It might look a little bit yellow to you, but I wouldn't use yellow down there. I would save that for the sun. So here's my bright yellow in the sun, and I'm going to put a little orange in there too and make it look like it's glowing. And then I'm going to get out my red and start alternating between my three warm colors in the top. All right, boys and girls, I can't wait to see your finished art. So head over to Flipgrid and make me a video showing it to me. Otherwise, I won't be able to see it. Let me know if something was difficult and if something went really well. I would just love to hear you talking about your art and telling me a little bit about how you made it, how your process went, and if you enjoyed it. So I can't wait to see your videos. Enjoy your week. Bye.